What is the best way to set your 5-year goals for building a business? And I'm kind of neck deep in this right now with two businesses in particular. And I'm kind of the opinion that, 5-year goals are great if you are IBM, or Microsoft or Apple, or you're a large organization that is no longer as nimble as you once were. If any of you listening to this run a business or have run a business or work for someone who runs a business, you will know that setting a 5-year goal is actually really hard to do because life changes very, very quickly. And for a small business, it can change overnight. You can go from having an incredibly profitable year and have your entire life mapped out for you. And then through a series of missteps, you can find that the following year, maybe life's not working out quite the same. And all of a sudden, your 5-year plan is destroyed. What I try to do, and the position that I've taken based on my experience, is that you want to figure out what your ultimate exit from the business is. Now, that can be 5 years, that can be 10 years, that can be 15 years, it can be 20 years. But ultimately, as an entrepreneur, you want to figure out, okay, what is my ultimate game plan here? Like, why am I even doing this? Why do I have this business? As it relates to your own personal goals. Why do I have this business? What am I trying to get out of it? But ultimately, how am I getting out of it? Am I looking to sell it to somebody? Am I looking to wind it down? Am I looking to go public? Am I looking for one of my competitors to acquire me? But what's the point? So once you have figured out what the ultimate goal for your business is, then you can work backwards and say, okay, so for this fiscal year, for the next 12 months, what's our goal? And how does that end up getting us closer to me as the entrepreneur? How does that help me get closer to what I'm trying to do? And then to break it into even smaller bite sizes than that. So I typically break a yearly plan, have a 3-year plan into a 1-year plan, but ultimately just 90-day plans that line up with the direction that you're trying to take your business. And I found that 5-year goals are great. And I think that a lot of business coaches and a lot of people will tell you have a 5-year goal. My replacement for that is, whether it's 5, 10, or 15 years, have a goal based on what you want to do with the business ultimately. Like, when it's all said and done, what do you want to do with the business, with your business? And then that should work backwards into, okay, where are we today and where do we need to go in order for me to make sure that I ultimately get what I'm looking for out of this business? And it's kind of a tricky topic because not many entrepreneurs think like that. Many businesses are started because someone wanted to be an entrepreneur. They had a great idea and they wanted to run with it. And they're not really thinking about legacy or what do I do when this is all over and why am I really doing this? But the funny thing is, the more you can figure out, the better you can articulate what you're trying to do with your business at the end of the day, what your personal end run is or your end game is, the easier it will be to troubleshoot through the tough moments that are inevitably going to come. So if you know what you're trying to do, then as you hit the tough moments, you can make a left-hand turn, a right-hand turn, adjust your strategy, grow, shrink, whatever you need to do to take advantage of that moment. But when you don't know what you're ultimately trying to do with the business, then when you hit the tough spots, you're constantly reacting to the circumstances and to whatever is happening. So I'm not a big believer in 5-year goals because I think businesses are more fluid than that, but I am a big believer in determining what is our ultimate goal with the business and then working back into 90-day plans that are bite-sized and that ultimately, if you pile them all up, end up leading you to the destination that you're trying to get to. So a little bit counterintuitive because you will hear have a 5-year business plan, have a 5-year projection. And I just think that that's too tough to do. I think it's easier to figure out what do we really want to do with the business ultimately. And then over the next couple of years, how do we know we're getting there? And then ultimately every 90 days or every business quarter, how do we measure our success and what we're doing? So the better you can articulate that, the easier it's going to be to get through the tough moments, and the easier it's going to be, quite frankly, to figure out which good moments to take advantage of, when to make a strategic move, when to invest in marketing, when to go compete heavy with your competitors, or maybe when to shrink and take advantage of a niche opportunity. But when you've got the big picture sorted out, then the smaller pictures are easier to find.